We like speed. Geeta, how are you? Fantastic. So I'm going to start very fast. Let's do it from this end. Introduction, your name, your function, your company, what you do.
Hi, everybody. Paul McClure from Commvault. I'm the CTO for our cloud solutions at Commvault. So I own our vision roadmap and productization of all of our service provider-centric and as-a-service solutions at Commvault. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Duncan Logan. I'm the CEO of Rocket Space. We are a technology accelerator here in San Francisco. We house about 800 people, 180 tech startups who are all innovating their way to success.
Super.
Hi, my name is O'Neill Bombani, and I'm the consumer guy in the land of enterprise folks. So I'm a president of a company called Flywheel Software, and what you referred to, you're Android for the data center, we're Android for the taxi cabs. So a lot of what we talk about here is taking away physical infrastructure in the data center. We are taking away physical infrastructure in the taxi cab. So that meter you see when you get in a taxi cab that you could probably enter 1985 and go back to the future, we replace all that stuff. And bare metal hardware to us is a Verizon cell phone. So in addition to that, I'm a partner at Trust Company of the West, which is a private equity firm, and I tend to invest in a lot of companies across the data center ecosystem. Thanks.
So, O'Neill, I put you on purpose right next to Duncan. Actually, I didn't. You guys just found each other. You know why? Because Uber started at Duncan's incubator, and you're basically Flywheel.
Wait, the company that starts with a U down market, should we call it the rhymes with Goober? That's what we call it.
This is going to be a fun conversation, Duncan.
No.
But first of all, Duncan is an incubator. He incubates people like you. You've done a great job, obviously, with Flywheel. I see all these red cabs. O'Neill has been talking about the Flywheel for a long time. I'm an Uber lover. Pepper and I, we use Uber all the time. But now Flywheel comes in. I'm like going, O'Neill, you look like a supermodel, first of all. And you just recently a father.
That's right.
Yeah, give a hand for you on this one. I'm following your footsteps, obviously, in your career. You've done a great job with Flywheel, so we want to learn more about it and how it's different in a second. So let's move on the panel. The next speaker.
Hi, I'm Don Clegg, head of marketing for Supermicro, and my CEO, Charles, is best friends with Tarkan, and he sends his greetings, and he would be here, but he's in Europe today on an unrescheduled event. But in any case, what he clearly instructed me to tell everyone in his own words, and Charles Liang is the best CEO I've ever worked for. He's just said, Supermicro has the best products. It's all about being best at whatever you do. And we can show demonstratable things. And oh, by the way, we had a great press release this week with Nexenta and HGST on an all-flash array. We'd love everyone to see it.
Super. Thank you for that. Geeta, you came all the way down from, or down, not down, east down from Denver.
Yes,
I've been talking about you all day long. You realize that, right?
So, hello everybody, I'm Geeta Alagband. I'm a professor and chair of Computer Science and Engineering Department at University of Colorado, Denver. So obviously I'm the odd person on the panel. I'm here to hopefully announce some partnership with Nexenta and tell you it's such a great investment. And we have great hope that we can generate maybe the next group of graduates who can be hopefully the new innovators and add to the workforce.
So Duncan incubates startups. We incubate together the students who are going to be incubated by Duncan.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yes.
Yeah, we're your stem cell, baby.
Right.
So let's keep going. Next one, Terry.
Hi, I'm Terry Vahey, and I'm the CIO for San Jose State University. So I feel like I'm the odd one out, at least I sat next to Geeta. So we are one of the largest providers of graduates for the Silicon Valley. And so hopefully we will be able to be providing a workforce for you all. So.
Thank you, Terry. Next up.
I'm Mehmet from Softtek, the guy with the longest name with a hat over the surname.
I like that.
Softtek is the biggest software developer in Turkey, and we are developing high-tech, innovative solutions for old-school businesses like banking, finance, ocean transportation, healthcare, So we have a variety, and we have very nice and great solutions for all of them. We have also been to Rocket Space. We visited them. We visited most of the incubation centers, and we were in Chicago before, now in San Francisco. So they were a great host, by the way. Thanks.
Great to have you. So let's move on next one, because Adrian, we're going to come back to you later.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Martin Hörmer. I'm the CEO of MediaLine. We are a system integrator and cloud service provider, and we are based in Germany, present there with 9 offices and serving our customers in Europe, in several European countries with our own cloud infrastructure. So we are using all the innovative technology that we have been talking about today, and we are implementing it at our customer sites, and that for a long time now, for 15 years now.
So Martin, very quick, tell the story how you started the company. Very quick. It's an amazing story.
That's a great story, right? Yeah. That started quite early in my professional life. So actually,
when you were younger.
Eddie, I was younger, yeah.
You're pissing me off right now. You are so young already. So when you were like 15.
Yeah, I were like 15 years old, and as innovation needs garages, it started from my parents' garage. So after school, I started to sell mobile phones, and that was the production resource. Was my bicycle, where I delivered and distributed them, and that's what we actually did. It was the start and the beginning of prepaid phones in Germany, and that was the kickoff for MediaLine. And awesome times, because no venture capital, no business plans, no quarterly figures, and that's the things that we kept until now, until today, because we started then in. That was in 1999, and then we went to integrating virtualization. So we were talking with CIOs about virtualization when they were still bending steel to build up tons of racks to install physical servers, and then we, out of that know-how we created there, we started our own cloud platform service, and showed how to optimize IT operations and how to make it.
So you were your own Rocket Space in Germany. You made it happen by yourself. No money, no nothing in your, and you're just too tame. Don't you remember these school officials called your home, or someone called your home? You were selling a big deal to a customer. They called your home and asked your dad or mom who you are. Tell the story very quick. This is very interesting. I want to hear this.
Okay.
Tell the story. Don't turn red. This is a great story. Be proud, brother.
Yeah, actually,
or Bruder.
Actually, yeah. I was running the business together with, and I'm still today. We are running the business together, my brother and me.
How old are you at that time? How old are you at the time?
Now?
No, at that time.
At that time, when we started, I was at the age of 15, and actually we started to do virtualization when I was at the age of 19 years, and we were actually applying for some official public contracts, and they had some conditions that the company must have a specific amount of people working for the company, and we said, okay, how should we solve that? Because we needed to invent some more names, because we were just 2 people. But we made a great reference out of that, and they asked us, they would like to invite the whole team who did the project for a barbecue, because all the people did a great job, and they wanted to invite them also. I had to find some friends to bring there.
Martin has a lot of stories. He applies for a credit. The bank calls home to talk to him, and his father answers the phone. He's 15 years old, and they're going like, hey, someone applied for a credit. Like going to VC, imagine. And actually his father is talking to the guy as if he's Martin. Like there's an amazing story. We're going to get into this a little bit more. A lot of drama, but out of a lot of drama, this amazing company came out, MediaLine. When I met you, I was super impressed, everything you guys done. And you were 15, and now you're 17, 2 years later. This is where the company is all about. Fantastic. You're not 17, but getting close. So let's move to Arvind for a second. Tell us what's up, man. All week VMware. Are you VMware'd out?
Well,
we're hiring, by the way. If you're out, okay. Keep going. I'm joking.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to follow that one, first of all. I mean, that's an amazing story right there. I mean, hands off. At 15, I don't even know what the hell I was doing. So my name is Arvind Soni. I lead the efforts of our OpenStack team here at VMware, which includes upstream contributions, working with Adrian's folks to deliver OpenStack. And of course, we agree with the vision that OpenStack is close to becoming Android of the data center, of the private cloud. It's a great set of OpenStack services and open APIs. And we want to make sure that those open services and APIs, they work with the best of the breed VMware SDDC products, right? So vSphere, NSX, vSAN, we have integrated all of them. Operations, we are integrating. And we also launched our own distribution so that we could accelerate the delivery of OpenStack to our customers who are running on VMware products. And VIO was launched 1 quarter ago, and since then I've not had a moment of peace in my life, and which is good to have with the product. Has seen a tremendous interest across the globe. My wife hates me because I travel a lot nowadays. She said, you are not a salesman, why are you traveling? So, you know, marriage contracts are dubious. So very excited. If you guys want to learn more about VIO, I'm here. We are launching 2.0 after 6 months. Very excited, very busy times. Love my work. Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course, and we love your passion and a fantastic week for you guys.
Thank you.
We'll come back to you in a second. So ladies first. So Geeta, let's come back to you. CU Denver. Obviously, Denver is the hotbed of a lot of storage IP, knowledge, passion, people, humanoids. You guys have everything in Denver.
I don't have one.
Yeah, you need to have one. He's going to be coding for you. So talk about the school a little bit, CU Denver, and about our relationship, partnership that we're building. Because Matt Ahrens was here earlier. He's, I think, still here in the back. Talked about the ZFS, some of the things you were doing on scale out, now taking it to curriculum at your university, a fellowship program for the graduate school, and potential for PhD. And our goal is to get the students, make sure they're trained, and then hire them, and then bring them into the workforce. Incubation of incubation. So talk about the university a little bit and your vision, and the programs that you guys are focusing on today to let people know what we're working on together.
Great. So the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, we have started, a few years ago, we started a couple of PhD programs, and the program is growing. One of my goals has been to put a group of faculty together that are very strong on the system engineering side of things. So right now we have a group, and we met with Tarkan through one of my former students, which we met, Eric Ray, who I invited to be on our advisory board. And so we invited Tarkan to come, and he was wonderful, actually. He came and he gave a talk to our students who they just absolutely loved. But we made a proposal to him because we wanted to do an educational track in data engineering and systems. And this is an area that, as everybody today, I heard them on panels, they talked about things, whether they don't want the application developer or the customer be aware of or anything else. You see that from a computer science standpoint, it's very important to understand the underlying system design of it. Data is important. One of the people in one of the talks made a joke that, you know, how big should the data be to be called big data? So data is growing, and it's very important to educate students who are able to apply the system layer design to also to the level of applications that they are designing. So a lot of times these things are isolated from each other. We made a proposal to Tarkan, and he was very supportive, and so I'm very grateful that I think he's decided to support us. So we will design a educational track in data system and engineering. As one of the major courses that will be required in that track, we will have a computer storage system that we will rely on, and a partnership with Nexenta and people who can teach courses with hands-on experimentation in the laboratory so they can actually learn how to apply these things. There are other type of courses that will be supporting to this type of track, operating system, advanced computer architecture, computer networks, data mining, data stores, and there's a long list of courses which you may not be interested in hearing. One component of this that will be very interesting is to have the partnership with Nexenta and other industry, hopefully, that people from with real projects will be mentoring and working with the students and with faculty that will help us have some real world problems, and then our graduates will be ready to do real work.
One key theme, Duncan, is I'm going to move to you in a second, so to speak, from a theme perspective. When we met with the students at Gita's School of Engineering, one thing I heard from the team was, and this is no hit against application vendors or anything like that, because there's innovation everywhere, in every layer of computing. But some of the students were talking about, look, great, there are companies like Uber, Yelp, a lot of mobile apps happening, a lot of money opportunity, growth opportunity, but I'm a data scientist. I want to work on a file system. I want to work on bigger problems, not necessarily more important problems, but bigger problems to undertake. And I guess this sounds a little bit geeky, but our focus has been file systems, scale up, scale out. With OpenStack and containers, there's a lot of complexity.
Right.
And how can we build infrastructure in a scalable, reliable way so companies like Flywheel, Uber, Yelp, whatever it might be, can run on reliable systems? So on that note, Duncan, talk about Rocketspace a little bit. By the way, before you arrived, Elizabeth Gore was here. I don't know if you saw her.
I saw her tweets, yeah.
Okay, so you were here in the room. I couldn't see you, but we were talking about you earlier. Talk about your organization. You guys have a phenomenal organization right here in San Francisco. How did you start the journey? What do you guys do? It would be great for the audience to know.
Yeah, so we're coming up to 5 years old. And the basic idea was at one side you've got co-working, at the other side you've got an incubator, and we wanted to be the space in the middle. We don't take equity, but we could provide office as a service, yet another kind of OPEX to CAPEX to OPEX shift. The difference we made was we focused purely on seed-funded or beyond tech companies. And that has meant that we've built a very quality sort of environment. And as you say, Uber, is one of the kind of famous companies out of there, but there's now 12 companies that have come through Rocketspace who have made it to $1 billion valuation. From the education point of view, we do work with universities, and we think the education space is going through a big piece of disruption itself. I think that's been a very good thing. I think universities are beginning to think more that the student is their product, and so they are wanting to integrate student life into real commercial life. Getting the students the jobs is becoming really, really critical. So we have a lot of inbound inquiries from that, and more corporations as well engaging with universities to run mixed programs, which I think is a really good thing.
And your location is right here in San Francisco?
Yep, just 4 blocks away.
Any other locations you guys have?
Not yet, but next year we'll. I just flew back from Shanghai this morning, and I fly to London tomorrow, and so that gives you an idea of where we'll be next year. Super.
Look forward. You guys done some great work. So as all the startups and blue chip companies should have an opportunity to work with you. So Don, let's move to you for a second. You guys doing some amazing work. Obviously, as Commvault, moving into Paul. Sorry, I just misspoke. You're a partner. We're doing a lot of work with you guys. In your space, there are a lot of different players, as we all know. Some legacy system vendors doing some of the work. I was in this space myself about 10 years ago, and people would go like, oh, okay, how many more copy management companies can you have in the world? And you guys have been through a lot of changes. So talk about a little bit of the journey where you guys came from, because you've done an amazing turnaround in the company, correct? And then tell us what's the future holding for you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you. Look, Commvault's philosophy from day one has really been about data and information management, which is a very generic term, but I think just as you touched on before, data growth is a huge issue for a lot of organizations, and it is in a lot of cases the most valuable asset that an organization has. So we're focused on not only the protection of that, but recovery and the long-term maintenance, for want of a better way of putting it, of that data. Storing the appropriate data on the appropriate infrastructure or tier reflective of its usage in the organization. So Commvault's been on a pretty amazing journey. Again, our philosophy from day one is to be absolutely infrastructure independent, physical, virtual, cloud, and also storage and vendor agnostic. So it gives the customer lots of flexibility, lots of choice, and it means that we have a capability, again, to align to the requirements of the business in terms of what technology, what infrastructure is appropriate to service certain workloads. The evolution of our company, just to touch on that, one of the things that's become pervasive in our space, and to your point around the technologies like ours are often considered a legacy. They're an absolute need. Everybody needs data protection. Everybody needs a level of recovery. However, nobody wants to be in the business of managing backup. So from that perspective, the biggest change that we've seen is around the service provider communities and also the as-a-service offerings, where people want to move to more of an outcome-based model. In terms of our partnership with Nexenta, certainly there's a logical fit for us both philosophically in terms of the different tiers of storage and the different types of infrastructure it can run on. Physical, virtual, cloud is a great example of that. But certainly that meet at the partner, meet at the service, and the cloud service providers especially is a key part that we see continuing to develop our partnership moving forward.
Yeah, you said it right. We feel culturally and viewpoint-wise, how we're looking at the market, we're very similar, so we really enjoy working with you guys. That's why you're here, based on the partnership, working with Ricardo Antuno and our team in a big way. So speaking of that, innovation, I'm going to come to you, SoftTech. Let's say the microphone for you. So a little bit of background. You are actually a wholly owned subsidiary of one of the largest banks in Turkey and Middle East, İşbank,
yes.
right? So you guys were built as this is an amazing story, as a technology provider to the bank.
Yeah.
And then you guys are so smart, you said, screw the bank, we're going to do more things.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, obviously your CEO is a dear friend of mine. I don't want him to look at the recording. Basically, you said, screw you, I'm going to do other things.
That's nice.
Yeah, you still do a lot of work, joking all aside. Work for the bank as the IT development house, but you guys are super smart people with now almost 1,000. How many people do you have?
Okay, we now 850.
850.
Yeah.
So 850 developers, you guys build applications wherever you see an opportunity based on customer need. You still support the bank, but you do more than that. Correct?
Yeah.
Am I?
If I will still have a job when I turn back. Okay. Yeah, we are the biggest software developer in Turkey. We mostly serve finance. But we also do interesting solutions that our primary owners do not like much. For example, we have container terminal automation solutions for ocean terminals, marine terminals, train terminals, or we have mobile health solutions that makes diagnosis and helps both the doctors, hospitals, insurance companies. And indeed, why we are here is we are indeed promoting these solutions and looking for opportunities. But the thing for us is, as a software company, you have to act fast because we have very demanding customers, and the value of information depreciates with the time passing. When an event occurs with a credit card or with a diagnosis of a patient, if you act it on the just right time, you get the most value. But if you do some big data analysis 2 days later, it means that you may lose lots of cash or you may lose a patient. So for us, we are working with huge amounts of data, but we have to work fast. It means we demand big data and fast data solutions So that's the main issue with our business.
So let me tell the truth behind this 100%. İşbank is a big proponent, big bank, obviously, is moving into software-defined data center
Yes.
from legacy systems. A lot of OpenStack work. Adrian, you guys should definitely spend some time, obviously. A lot of container approach. By the way, the containers you were talking about are
Yeah, they are
containers.
big boxes.
I'm talking containers in the port.
Yeah.
But the team is actually doing more than that.
Yes.
Secure banking, mobile application. The mobile banking application you guys built is second to none. It's being used all over the Middle East, Turkey, and parts
Yeah.
of Europe. And when I was talking to the CEO of İşbank, I said, these guys, we need to bring them to Silicon Valley, and we need to invest in them and grow them even faster. So some of the things you guys done are unbelievable. My call to action for you is to connect with many folks in the room and talk about Softtech and all the other sub-companies you created, obviously. Amazing story. One last point to you. OpenStack, containers,
Yeah.
open source driven software defined data centers and cloud computing initiatives based on commodity hardware. Having said all these things, how do you see that in your region, in the region of Middle East, Turkey, North Africa, Southern Europe region? Because there's a lot of activity going on there, big data issues there. There's a lot of innovation there that sometimes in the US we don't see. How do you see these trends impacting your region?
Okay, indeed, the good news is it's an emerging market and emerging technology, and people are willing to work and invest on these subjects. So for Turkey, for Middle East, Eastern Europe, the opportunity for big data and containerization is very high. For example, İşbank is the biggest private bank in Turkey and is willing to invest in this. So, yeah, come to Turkey and let's work together. It's nice.
Super. Glad to have you. I'm sure a lot of people are going to connect with you. I'm sure Adrian is going to connect with you after this as well.
Yeah, I'll be glad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So moving to your right, Terry, I was talking about you. You're obviously on the IT side of things, but at the end of the day, you have the San Jose State hat. You probably heard my description. Your previous president, Mo, obviously left now. He went back to help Afghanistan, the president of the university. He was before at CSU, right? California State?
Yep.
Yeah. So the way he pitched San Jose State to me always, as I mentioned earlier, in other schools, big name schools, private schools, people become VCs and other things, but at San Jose State, we supply the entire engineering staff of your company. Similar story with CU Denver, obviously in Midwest, in Denver. From a San Jose State perspective, obviously, you guys going through a change yourself with the new presidents coming in and everything else. But from an IT perspective, now have your CIO hat on. You heard some of the themes in the conversations. You built a lot of systems, deployed a lot of systems. You have a lot of developers yourself. Where do you see all these open story moving to for you as a university, as a buyer and user of technology?
Sure. So at our campus, our faculty are adapting a bit like this gentleman was saying. We have students who come in, and every 4 or 5 years, they're a new generation, if you will. So our faculty need to adapt. Our campus needs to adapt to those technologies and be able to provide them to the workforce and be able to have them go into the workforce working. So we need to provide an infrastructure and the applications and support that will give them the tools that they can teach with. So the deans work with a lot of the companies, several of whom are here, and partner with them to use the curriculum that includes their technologies and work closely with them for internships. And so providing that information and providing training for them is a lot of what we do and support for them. So, so we have to be able to do that. So we need to adapt as well. So being able to have technology, we work with a lot of vendors in our own shop. So we not only have segments of our network that are available to the students, but we have the operation of the campus as well. So our ERP system needs to be set up so that we can have the students doing their testing and their development and their hacking so that it doesn't affect our ERP systems, but we need to be able to have both running. So we're always looking at what's available and being able to have it available for students to learn on. So that's part of what we believe in philosophically, that our students are there to learn and to have the opportunity to do some on-the-job training with us. We employ several thousand students on our campus, as well as internships outside of the campus.
How many students do you have in your school?
About 32,000.
This is a big school in San
Big
Jose.
school.
Yeah, very big school.
Yeah.
And obviously big College of Engineering. I know there's a constant competition between College of Engineering and Computer Science Department in our meeting as well. They almost got into a fight. I'm kidding.
No,
I'm joking.
they
I'm
don't.
joking. I'm joking. Press and media, just keep your horses down. So just a joke. But joking all aside, I think this is important. We had our conversations about our proposal, how we became partner. Actually, I cheated on Gita. Got the proposal and partnership program we had with Gita and took it to San Jose State based on your request. So you're actually now a family through me and through us, through Ethnic Center. So joking all aside, we're looking forward to the program with you. Again, as you heard from Matt, a lot of engineering assets out there and opportunities for some of the startups here. From Mirantis, you heard from Rancher guys earlier, Solinia and other partners. And also we're looking forward to partnerships with companies like organizations like Rocket Space. So I'm glad you're here. And before I move to other folks, I would love to have two of you, both Gita and Terry, give a call to action to audience here. There are a lot of CEOs here, investors here, customers here at C-level. Gita, let's start with you, and I'm going to come back to Terry. What's the call to action, Gita? What do you guys need? How can we work together as the community industry with you, organizations like yours? One call to action each.
One sentence or more?
No. Since higher education, we love you, Pepper and I, you guys going to give additional call to action. You have two. Yeah, make a paragraph.
So from my perspective, I've been a professor for a very, very long time. And building a program and educating people really takes a village. So especially being in the field of computer science, I think students, I can tell you from experience that students who did internship with industry during their education, they all found jobs right before they graduated. So those who are looking for jobs, and then students who became interested to go into graduate school and follow the academic, and they all have been very successful when they have that kind of experience. It is definitely, I don't know, for some maybe very well-off universities, it may be not a problem, but for smaller universities, bringing the latest technology to every student is almost impossible. So to me, it's very important to partner with industry, and we respect both the academic side and the industry side and have a good understanding. And I think in computer science, it's very easy to do, really. It's, in some areas, it's not that easy. So to me, it's very good to have laboratories and different kinds of environments that we can have, as much as possible, open source, but if not, some kind of agreement, that the students will have hands-on experimentation on them. Faculty and industry can work together to mentor students and maybe produce some interesting research. In our program, we have a very rigorous undergraduate program in terms of computer science. We have kept a lot of key points in our curriculum. And I think it's important to maintain that aspect of computer science per se, because we want depth of understanding. We want the students to know architecture. We want the students to understand the trade-offs and principle of locality, which right now is a huge problem with making data available when it's needed. So that affects application drive. So my call to industry is support the students with internships, support university or computer science departments by partnering with them. Join projects.
Thank you, Gita. Thank you. These are the pieces that came out of our conversation. So Terry, and one last, call to action from you, from your side for San Jose State. I'm sure there are some similar themes, but you're on the also IT side.
Sure.
Maybe bring both the teams together.
So mine would be very similar in that we have a lot of projects and a lot of several deans on campus that would love to have participation from industry for working on those projects, for internships, for students who would come to your organizations and participate in those projects for credit or for pay or for some combination of both, as well as to help with the curriculum. We have boards like Gita was talking about as well. We also would love to work with you all on projects that are centrally in IT so that we can help the students learn and the faculty participate in that. So a lot of times the adoption and the adoption of the faculty to kind of learn some of that stuff. Faculty are busy and their core responsibility is not learning technology. Their core responsibility is as their subject of expertise. And so we really need to get that technology to be easy for them to learn. And nowadays, that's much better than it was 20 years ago. So that's really the thing that I think is helping us move more so than it was 20 years or so ago. So it's what I hear most often from faculty.
And the key thing, again, for the audience, we talked about this earlier with Tom Tarlakson and Mohamed Chaudhary. You're not looking for charity as higher education institutions. You're actually money-making organizations, and you buy a lot of technology. People don't realize how much technology universities buy. So this is actually a money-making opportunity for vendors like us. Give to get, helping you build your technologies, curricula, and with that success story, that technology purchase comes back to us as revenue and goes back again back to you as programs. So it's a never-ending love. Pepper loves that.
And the workforce.
And the workforce.
Right, the workforce.
That's part of the story. Thank you for calling that out. So speaking of workforce, I'm going to come back to O'Neill because O'Neill, you guys are growing fast. Because I remember this company was like what, 2 people in a garage, maybe in a truck. That's another company. But you joined the company as an investor, and now you're the president. Tell us, where is Flywheel going, and why is that better than Uber?
Yeah, so little more than 2 guys in a truck, 42 guys in offices in Redwood City and India. A trust company in the West, the firm I'm partner at, we put about, us and our investor syndicate have put about $30 million in the company to date, and we're growing fast. We're growing about 100% month over month. What we realized is transportation is not a winner-take-all business. Actually, to say something a little surprising, we actually think Uber's built a great product. They've really changed the game. They've software-defined for-hire transportation. But just like services like Kayak, I have tons of miles on United Airlines. I'm not necessarily going to book United each time. It's situation-specific. So we chose to address this problem, and we chose to address this problem with licensed taxi cabs. So one thing at Flywheel that we don't need to do is, I, as president, I don't need to incentivize a taxi driver to get off his couch during rush hour and create surge pricing for everybody else in the room. So we really focus on a technology offering for licensed taxi cabs to deliver an on-par experience to capture that type of market share. This is 250,000 taxi cabs in the US. When I was seeking Target's mentorship when we decided to take over this company and run it, we were powering 2,000 of them. Today we power 20,000 of them. That means every taxi cab that we power, we just give them a Verizon phone, and that phone runs our Android-based software. It is one of the best characterizations I've seen of a software-defined platform in any one of my portfolio companies that I've seen. Not with, the interesting thing about it is, with Uber in the room, is the capital raising and subsidizing. It's something that we're very cognizant of. So Uber's done a great job of kind of undercutting the market, but in terms of regulation, Uber's having a lot of problems right now, and internationally, India, Brazil, and all these kinds of countries, and we're seeking to capitalize on that as well. And there's actually one thing that, my last point on this is, one thing that Flywheel can do where Uber and other rideshares can't do is, we can capture street hail market. The street hail market is actually 80% of all rides within taxis. So what you can do with our app is you can go in a taxi, you can fire up your Flywheel mobile app, and even if you didn't book that taxi on Flywheel, you can pay for it. You can get a receipt emailed to you. And furthermore, we can do some location-based advertising. So we built this, what we call the Android platform for taxi cabs, and we affectionately call it Gargantua. So Gargantua to taxi cabs is what we feel Android is to Google.
Super. So just to your left, Don, obviously I have to tell the story. Actually, Charles Liang, founder, CEO, Supermicro, and you need to meet Charles. He's a force of nature. We have a lot of fun. He's originally from Taiwan. He just bought out the old San Jose Mercury News headquarters where the newspapers were done. Now that becomes a mini headquarters. It's a huge building and all factory. Whenever I talk to Charles, Charles is all about data. He doesn't give a hoot to all these gobbledygook. How many servers you sold, how fast you're selling, how are you supporting, how are you servicing. And actually he was going to be one of the keynotes. He was a keynote last year with Hillary Clinton, and he got scheduled into this thing that he couldn't get out of. And he comes to me and goes, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it, but I found a way. So, and by the way, you need to know Charles. Charles does not spend money, right? He is super cheap, and he's proud of it. I love him.
I didn't say cheap, I just...
No, I mean this. Look, no, listen.
Your words.
No, be proud of it. I drive a Prius, baby. I am cheap. The reason is I'd rather save and give that saving to my customer so you can have a long-term relationship, you make more money. Give to get. Charles thinks that way. So he is super cheap, and I love him for that. And he goes, but for you, I don't want to miss this event. I rented a private jet for $250,000, so I'm going to come to the keynote, do the keynote, and I'm going to fly out to Germany, right, Munich. True story. I said, are you crazy? Go to Germany to your customer meeting. You got to do that. It's a big, obviously, deal going on there with Supermicro in Munich. I'm going to connect Media Line immediately for a reseller agreement there. But to make long story short, that's how Charles is, and he is such a loyal partner from that perspective. And by the way, I'm like, are you kidding me? Go. Doesn't matter. Bring Don. So Don, you're representing obviously Supermicro. You guys are showing that commodity hardware with the right service and support can win, right? At the end of the day, you add all the software on top of it and you add the value with quality service and support around the world, and you guys are growing crazy, correct? Why are you shaking it? You're not growing crazy? You're a public company. We know your data.
It's to the forward-looking statements. We are growing.
I love this.
We're growing very, very well.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, it's not the 100% month over month. I'm glad Charles isn't hearing that, or my quota would be significantly raised. But it's in the mid-30s year over year over year. And it feels like we're a $2.5 billion startup with Charles' energy that we have. And as I said before, it's about building the best product. So while it may look like commodity hardware, the key is to pick the right hardware. So from the very beginning, Supermicro developed its product line around this reusable building block. Because if you get stuck with one size fits all, I can show you some really bad hardware where everyone in the room say, yeah, the hardware matters.
Very true.
You've got to pick. Because I'm showing my age, but when I first got out of school as a designer, it was designing with 5-micron technology and no networking, but we had 300 baud acoustic modems. I mean, if you want to use bad hardware, you'll know it. But now today, Supermicro, the way we stay ahead is with the best product, releasing it really early to market. Because when you do an early market release, you're working, that's why I love being on this panel with new technology collaboration. You work with partners and you develop products that are disruptive, that will gain market share. So in the early days, I didn't take Charles' advice. I was selling him silicon when he started the company. He said, join me. And I thought, no, I'd rather keep selling you silicon. It took me 13 years before I realized it. But for the last 10 years, I'm a believer. And we've seen our market share grow to 10% plus in unit market share and continuing to grow this way. But it's about building a better product. And just anecdotally, I had a customer come to me today and they said, help. And I go, how? He goes, I can't pick the right hardware. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I've been on all your competitor sites and I added up all their products and there's still more on your site. So the key is, and he said, I'm afraid of picking the wrong one, but I said, but the good news is we're going to help you pick the right one. And the key is just like with the announcement this week with the Nexenta HGST Supermicro platform, 115 terabytes, all flash array available now. I mean, it's a way to, working with Supermicro is a way to get to market first, to be disruptive, grab market share, and oh, by the way, we'll continue to develop the hardware so you can tell your customers hardware doesn't matter, but you know you're using the best
Absolutely.
stuff out there.
And also, in addition to that, you heard Sumit talking about it. This infinite flash array, all-flash array, first software-defined one on Supermicro platform. You're talking about 8 million IOPS, $1.50 per gig. I mean, these are amazing numbers. I'm going to talk to Chris in a second about some of these things, but these are real stuff happening, and thanks to the innovation you're making. And by the way, look, you're a public company. These numbers are not hidden. You guys have about $2 billion revenue based on the last report, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's just 2.5 run rate.
2.5 billion.
Growing at 30%, so...
It's amazing.
Again,
But here's my point.
Static.
Dan, I'm trying to help you. Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm trying to help you here. $2.5 billion run rate you're talking about. You're profitable. Your market cap based on the today is what?
Horrible.
Be honest and be proud about it. What is it?
1.2, 1.3 billion, something like that.
Okay, so listen, people. There are S1s going out, companies with $150 million revenue, or whatever that might be, losing $250 million revenue, and they are getting market caps for $2 billion because they have shiny presentations. And there are companies like that with super fundamentals, growing, profitable, no VC money, right? This is Charles built the company with bootstrapped it. This is the friggin' real deal. Yes, I said friggin', with an apostrophe at the end. You guys are making this happen every day, and we really, truly appreciate the partnership. And Don, thank you for being here. One call to action to the audience here, Don, from you.
Our products are shipping, all flash arrays with Nexenta. Check them out. They're available.
Super, thank you for being here. So, Arvind, let me come back to you to this end. Obviously, OpenStack you talked about. You guys had a partnership, a build partnership with Adrian and Mirantis. You're moving it. Your wife hates you. Hopefully, it's not going to end up a divorce. Just focus on that relationship. More important than OpenStack. Joking aside, what's next for you? What's next for the company, and what's your call to action to the audience?
Yeah, so I mean, essentially call to action is, look, guys, I mean, there are companies who are bleeding money in AWS. That's a reality. Go take a look at the monthly chart that you're paying to AWS. And the economics is very simple, right? If you're going to keep doing that same thing again and again, why are you renting the hardware and infrastructure from there? You can build it using OpenStack, which is open source, democratic platform, and VMware products are very well suited for building that OpenStack platform. You can build it with our distribution, VMware integrated OpenStack, or you can work with our partners like Mirantis. But the simple call to action is private cloud is very, very real. It can help you accelerate your business. It can give you the same edge that a startup has, right? A startup can go to AWS and spin up a lot of different logic and applications. You can do it too. You have the same people who go and make the startups, right? So the call to action is do it, believe in private cloud, move towards it, and VMware has the best products for it. So
Super.
Give us a shot.
Thank you, Arvind. So Martin, one final point from you on MediaLine. Today, now you started this 2 years ago when you were 15. Now MediaLine is a bigger company, without revealing your age and your brother's age. You guys are having super success. We're big partners with you in Germany and beyond. We want to grow that relationship. The reason we invited you here all the way from Germany is because your story is amazing. So what is the company doing now, and what's next for MediaLine?
Yeah, actually, now we are one of the well-renowned cloud service providers in Germany. So we run private clouds. We use the technology we had been talking about today. We use VMware, we use Nexenta, and that's a great approach. So you can really create value and productivity with it. And actually, we are building the cloud for the customer based on his demand and individual based. So we run those systems to be able to offer software as a service, application as a service, desktop as a service. We talked about it. And we implement those solutions in customer private cloud data centers when customers are looking for the know-how to implement it. That's what we are doing now.
So call to action. A lot of people do business in Germany. You're one of the top 5 IT markets in the world, in Germany and beyond. DACH region, right. Germany, Switzerland, Austria, in Eastern Europe. A lot of startups.
Yeah,
startups go to Eastern Europe and maybe other regions. And I know Adrian spent a lot of time in Germany too in the past. through Germany. What is your advice to US-based, Silicon Valley-based startups? How should we partner? How should we go to market? Just one quick call to action on that.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is use the new technology that is available. So there's always a reason why not to do it now, why to wait maybe for a next release, or why it could be not the suitable moment, but it can really create value. Now we saw it, we were growing super fast. We are present in 3 countries with 9 offices. We are about 150 people as a private system integrator and cloud service provider, and that's because we always saw that new technology can add value, can bring new perspectives and generate real revenue, and that's the call to action. Just do this and use the technology.
Super.
And thank you for having us.
Of course.
It's a great format, great event today. It's really perfect, super fast and super interesting. Thank you.
That's how we roll. So on that note, we started with Adrian. Adrian, thank you so much. I know you're traveling all over the place. We started with you, we'll close with you. Adrian, again, you just made it happen with Mirantis in a big way. You basically started this new segment. Where do we go from here as the startup community, new technology community now, as you're growing the company even further? What are the next steps and call to action from you to us, to all of us? Mentor us.
Well, here's what's exciting to me about what's happening in the world today versus like 20 years ago when I've been in the enterprise technology business for a while. I think what's been happening with the internet is that you have dramatically more transparency, and that information is being shared much more quickly. So in the past, if you're looking how technology companies were built, from every dollar that you would spend, maybe 70% would go to sales and marketing, and 10% will go to R&D, and maybe 20% will go to customer support. But a lot of it would be spent on persuading customers or getting the message out or advertising, right? I think what's happening today, and the companies that are winning today, are the ones that are really putting much more investment and energy into creating an amazing customer experience, because that will rise to the top by itself. So instead of having to spend an enormous amount of money in building a sales force, spending a lot of money in shouting your message out there, spend more money and more energy into figuring out how to deliver something to the customer that's truly exceptional, and then you can trust that the market and the people in the market will get that message out. I think that's a huge change that we have today versus 20 years ago, and to me that's very exciting, because it's going to create something that looks much more like a meritocracy that's going to reward the people that actually spend the time and energy to create something that's truly great, as opposed to just rewarding people who are maybe the best salespeople, the best marketing people.
Super. Thank you, Adrian, and thank you all the panelists. I know it's a speed date format. It's not about how many words you say, but what you say. And thank you for being part of this, from obviously Paul, Duncan, O'Neill, Don, Gita, Terry, and then Mehmet Ali. Thank you for coming all the way from Istanbul. Adrian, thank you. You're traveling all over the place. I know you're India, Russia, all over the place. And Martin, we will see you in Germany. We're going to have that schnitzel again, and you're going to hear the story. By the way, he was tame. The story about the bank calling his home, verifying with his dad what's going on, and his dad is asking, some bank call today, what are they asking for? He's asking for credit to build his company. His dad even doesn't, and mom doesn't even know what's going on. Bankers are calling home, checking his credit worthiness. They're thinking that they're talking to you, and you're a 15-year-old kid basically looking for funding. That is a story I have to replicate with our team. And thank you, Arvind, for coming in. Really appreciate it. So we're moving rapidly on to Chris Mellor, my dear friend. Thank you so much. Give me a high five as you walk into the cafe. Martin, thank you so much.